The Baltimore Ravens have struck gold, and it is already paying off.
I love gold.
On Monday, we entered day 15 of training camp. And as we inch closer to the start of the regular season, more and more Ravens are starting to stand out, with most salivating over the potential of Mike Green and what he can do on the field. The Ravens' first round pick is making an impact of his own. A key piece to the Ravens offense has returned to practice.
We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
And with a rash of injuries, is there a reason for the Baltimore Ravens to be concerned? We will discuss all of this and more in this video. But first, let's get it. So on Monday, the Baltimore Ravens entered day 15 of training camp, but the starters didn't get much work as they primarily focused on the second stringers. But the first team offense and the first team defense did get in some solid reps, even though it was not for that long. And in practice, Malachi Starks got his hands on a pass from Lamar Jackson in the back of the end zone. He leapt in front of Keith Kirkwood, notching his second red zone drill interception of camp. And you can see all the potential that is there. Malachi Starks in college was known for making spectacular interceptions, and it hasn't stopped once he reached the NFL. And this was the exact reason the Baltimore Ravens brought him in as their first round pick, trying to reverse a trend, something that has been plaguing the Ravens for years during the playoffs, where they just can't seem to create turnovers on defense. Hopefully Malachi comes in and changes this narrative. For the start of the season, he is slated to be the starting safety, but he has taken some reps at cornerback, showing his versatility. So you couple that with what's going on with Mike Green, and the Ravens have gotten younger and more athletic on defense. Hopefully this youth and enthusiasm translates into these young men making plays for the playoffs, because we are really going to need them. But first, the Ravens have to make the playoffs, having a tough schedule, especially early on. And with the way that the NFL has comprised the Baltimore Ravens games, giving them a bunch of away games, playing a lot of playoff teams, having a first place schedule, we are going to need these young men to grow up fast. And if this camp is any indicator, we are in good hands. Also, during Monday's camp, Trenton Simpson tracked down Justice Hill, who snagged a dump-off pass, showing that athleticism, showing the reason that the Ravens once considered him a starter. Hopefully this season he will fulfill that potential and start beside Roquan Smith. Right now, he is first on the depth chart and is in line to start for this defense. He also made a play beating Joseph Noteboom on a blitz, which would have resulted in a quarterback hit. These are the plays that we're going to need him to make during game time situations. And if he can be that starter, if he can be reliable and stay in games and show us the things that we saw 2 seasons ago in the preseason, this Ravens defense is going to be crazy. Because as it seems right now, outside of the defensive line being a little thin, this linebacker position may be the weakness on the team, maybe the weakness on the defense. And I'm not saying that it is weak at all, but if you have your strengths, you have to have a weakness. And I think the linebacker position right now is it. But that's just for right now. We don't know how camp is going to pan out. We still have a couple of preseason games left to play. Next up, we have Marlon Humphrey, who knocked a pass out of Zay Flowers' hands in the back of the end zone, stopping what would have been an apparent touchdown. Wide receiver Tez Walker, entering his second season, made a lot of nice contested catches down the field, even beating cornerbacks Ruben Lowry and Cheeto Awuzie. So hopefully he can continue his progression and contribute something to the team. And if he doesn't, we have some other guys that can hold down the fort until he gets where he needs to be. There's no pressure for him right now to do too much because we have 4 guys ahead of him that can make plays. Hopefully injuries don't derail this team, but I do think that the plays that he is making in training camp is boosting his confidence. He's showing the team that he is working hard and he can be that wide receiver that a lot of you guys think that he can be. But one of the reasons we do not need him exactly right now is because the Ravens brought in DeAndre Hopkins. And D-Hop returned to practice today, and he caught a 40-yard touchdown from Lamar Jackson. And that play ended up being the longest play during the session.
We're building the chemistry on and off the field, in the locker room, talking about things. So I think it's going well.
And if you watch DeAndre Hopkins throughout all of training camp through OTAs, he has been at times literally unguardable. So the question that I ask is, could DeAndre Hopkins be better than any of us expected? Now, I know last year he didn't have the greatest of seasons, splitting between the Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs. He had a bunch of career lows. He only had 56 receptions for 610 yards and 5 touchdowns. But I think that this new situation, this new opportunity has rejuvenated D-Hop, and he's looking quite spry out there. He's looking like a young man. He may not be the D-Hop of old, but we don't need him to be. And even if he can replicate those 56 catches, 610 yards, those 5 touchdowns, that will be good enough, especially with Dayton Zay leading the way. But maybe, just maybe, he could give us a little bit more. And yes, he is 33 years old. He has a lot of wear and tear and mileage on his body. But if you watch the way that he moves, the way that he sets up defensive backs, this could be a breakout season. We saw the same thing with Derrick Henry last year. He came to the Ravens. He had a down year in Tennessee. He came to the Ravens, balled out of control. It's the Lamar Jackson effect. So to me, at least I think that he can replicate the numbers that he put up last season and possibly exceed them. But more importantly to me, with that iron sharpens iron statement, I think that he's given these defensive backs work. He's using all of his veteran tricks and is helping prepare Nate Wiggins for the season.
Yeah, I like going against all of them, but I would say specifically Nate Wiggins. I think Nate is, he's a young guy who loves competing. He wants to be great. Obviously Jair and I have played against each other before, but I've never played against Nate. I would say, Nate, just because, him and I have never really got reps against each other. And, he's a young corner who wants to be great.
So in the end, D-Hop could help the team twofold, on offense and making this defense even better. Because the expectations that we have for the Baltimore Ravens defensive backfield, nobody, and I mean nobody, should be passing for 300 yards versus this team. I do not care who you are. Joe Burrow better not have a damn near 1,000-yard 2-game stretch with about 7 touchdowns. There is no reason that any team in the NFL should come close to being able to throw the ball on the Ravens. And then conversely, they shouldn't be able to run on us as well. And it all starts in practice. And it all starts with the competition level that you have to go against. So I think that D-Hop brings a value to this team that a lot of people aren't seeing. So hopefully he continues trending up. And that's just another piece that's going to help us come postseason time, because he has that experience. He played in a Super Bowl last year, so he can tell guys what to expect. Sometimes talent doesn't just win you games. Sometimes it's experience. It's having gone through situations and being able to communicate that to your teammates. So even though a lot of us weren't happy with the signing, he does bring a lot of positive values to this team. And hopefully all of it shows come January and February. So all in all, the Ravens had a decent day of practice on Monday, but some things that were concerning to me were the players that were out. Keaton Mitchell was out. He's a little nicked up. My concern level with that is moderate. I'm not really concerned too much, but I do know he got hurt twice in his rookie year. So the Ravens have to be careful how they use him for this upcoming season. Secondly, Jair Alexander. He missed another practice. It seems to me like he practices one day, he's not practicing the next. I don't know if that's just maintenance or if there's an issue with his surgically repaired knee. I know at the beginning of the training camp, he missed a day because it had to be drained. He's coming off an injury. Are they working him too hard? Is he going to be ready, or is he prepared to play a whole season? And my concern level for this one is mild. I'm going to say mild, only because I do not see him practicing back to back to back. And some of you are going to say, well, we don't play games back to back to back. We do not. But the reps that he gets in practice and the reps that he's going to get during game time situations is going to ramp up. The speed, the level, the intensity, all of these things are going to be more. So hopefully he is healthy enough to play the whole season, because to me, his attitude, the swagger that he brings, his demeanor is more important to me than the skills that he brings on the team. If you look at practice, he instills confidence in his teammates that he's going to get shit done. And that belief in him puts everybody else at ease and lets them know that they can do their job and they don't have to concentrate on somebody being sticky and getting beat for the 3rd most yards in the league. So I am not really concerned. I'm just hopeful that everything is all right. And the last guy that missed practice today was Kyle Hamilton. I'm not going to say my concern level is high, but it does have me raising a few eyebrows. I'm not going to hold you on that one, because if I'm not mistaken, this is the 6th consecutive practice that he has missed. I understand camp fatigue, soreness, certain things like that, but guys don't normally miss this many consecutive games unless there is a problem. And defensively, this is one guy that the Ravens cannot afford to lose. Offensively, we can't afford to lose Lamar Jackson. And yes, if Kyle Hamilton's not available, we can still win games. But as our best defensive player, as the one that the Ravens rely on to be that Swiss Army knife, the Ravens need him in games, because if not, it changes this defense dramatically. Now everybody gets bumped up. Now Malachi Starks gets bumped up, which I think he can handle. But as far as Bo Braden, Snoozy Kane, now they're starters. Do the Ravens bring in somebody else? So hopefully Kyle Hamilton is okay. I just wish that they would give word on what is going on. I know it's not their responsibility or their duty to let us, or especially let me, know what's going on with the team. But I think to put people's minds at ease, because this is not being talked about enough. Let us know what's going on with Kyle Hamilton. Let us know we should be concerned. Let us know if we should be scouting, or you should be scouting some other safeties until Kyle Hamilton can get right. So collectively, if we put all of these pieces together, you take the draft picks with Malachi Starks and Mike Green, the additions of DeAndre Hopkins and Jair Alexander, you take the playmaking ability of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and the defensive prowess of Kyle Hamilton. And you put all of these things together, to me, it only leads to one place. That's California in February.